everybody, Raggrowth here. So here is the rest of my top 15 most wanted characters for Mortal Kombat 12 list. Don't forget to check out the previous video, which was 15 to 11. This is 10 to 1. Enjoy.
Number 10.
Motaro.
Now this probably isn't very likely. Motaro has always been my favorite of the sub-bosses. I like him more than Kentaro. It probably helps in Mortal Kombat Trilogy is the game I started off with, and he was basically the sub-boss. And it was the N64 version, so the other guys weren't in it. But he's just a really cool and unique design for a sub-boss. Unfortunately, though, Ed Boon has gone on record saying that they just couldn't really get him to work properly. And I unfortunately think that if they do bring Motaro back, he may not even be playable. He might just be a boss-only character, unfortunately. But hey, this is just more what I want, not always what's the most likely. He could also make sense as a pre-order bonus character instead of Kentaro. And sure, they could always bring him back with 2 legs, and while I was okay with that, I know universally everybody did not like that. I was just kind of like, I'm just happy to have him back sort of thing. Granted, Ed Boon did give an interesting reaction when someone asked about Motaro. He did say, stay tuned. But again, that could mean Motaro will be back, but he'll just be a sub-boss. So,
Number 9. Nitara.
So of course I'm going to have some 3D era characters, and starting off with Nitara. Nitara was always one of the 3D era characters I liked, just maybe that I didn't absolutely love need to see again, but I still definitely would like to see her come back. She has a really cool design, and Vampire is always cool, and characters that could fly with cool wings are always cool as well. And not only that, but Nitara kind of could bring in a new realm. I forget what the name of her realm was called, honestly, if it even had a name. But what also helps with Nitara is she has been in both the live-action movie, which was admittedly not exactly the best showing of her, and she did make a little cameo in the first animated movie, Scorpion's Revenge. Again, she didn't get to do much, but she looked just like herself, and it's not like she died brutally or anything that we know of, at least. So we know she's at least on their mind. Now, in terms of her chances coming back, I think kind of the 2 biggest obstacles with her are called Melina and Scarlet, as these characters kind of just do what she does, but probably better. So I think it's just a little hard to kind of make her own thing. But also, to be fair, and I'm going to be bringing this up a lot, Ed Boon has responded to somebody asking, will we see kind of more 3D era characters come back? Or, why do you not like 3D era characters? I forget the tweet is off the top of my head. I'm obviously going to include it. But he said, that is something we're trying to fix. This kind of, was very shocking to hear from Ed. This is the first time he's kind of acknowledged the 3D era characters in sort of a positive kind of way, if we're talking about that. And Nitara could always very, very well be one of those things he wants to fix.
Number 8. Hotaru.
So let me just say with Hotaru and Nitara, I think they're pretty interchangeable on this list. I'm only putting Hotaru higher because I always did really like his design. Not to mention, I think with another character I'm going to mention more on this list, he'd go a little bit more relevant with the story. Actually, 2 characters on this list, I'll say that. But Ataru was definitely one of my favorite characters introduced in Mortal Kombat Deception. I kind of liked his whole obsession with order. Just his design is just really cool. I'm a sucker for kind of the black-wearing, long white-haired characters, if you haven't noticed already. And I did enjoy his moveset, though he was just kind of another fire character that had some fast kick moves. I think kind of the main thing one of the main issues with Hotaru is that both of his costumes just look like another character. His default looks like Fujin. His secondary looks like Cyrax. So if they can maybe find a way to kind of take both aspects of the costume and kind of make him a bit different, because I do want to see his face and his cool hair. But maybe they could kind of have the helmet on him while still having his hair kind of flow behind him or something like that. And definitely keep his Naginata or spear. I forget which one he had. I know Sindel had one of them, him and Sindel had the Naginata or spear. I forget which one exactly. Now, for his chances, I really don't think he's likely. I think he is definitely one of the lesser likely characters on this list. Definitely one of the lesser likely 3D era characters. I think, I don't know. They could surprise us with this one, but I don't really see Hitaru requested that much, and I don't really see much love for him from NetherRealm Studios, and that's already saying much because he's a 3D era character, so he's already disadvantaged there. But it would still be great to see him back, and I'd love to see him reimagined.
Number 7. Sector.
So Sector is always a Mortal Kombat character I really like, but I always kind of forget I like for some reason. I guess because he's one of those characters that he's not really gone, but he's never really around all the time. And it is kind of frustrating. It seems like he can really only be around if Cyrax is around. It seems like he can never really be in a game by himself. Arguably, you can consider Triborg from Mortal Kombat X Sector, because story-wise, he basically was Sector, just if Sector kind of was able to take forms of the other cyborgs. But no, Sector is probably my favorite of the cyborgs. I just love his moveset. I like his design more. I like red more than yellow, so I'm a little biased there. I loved how he got the dual lightsabers in Mortal Kombat Armageddon. That was awesome. And I just love his cold, calculating, power-hungry, cyborg-hungry kind of personality. And it's really a shame he doesn't really get more love. I think he has a good chance in this game. I feel like he's sat out enough. He can definitely come back. Again, I just don't know if Cyrax has to come with him. Granted, I think Cyrax is more likely anyway. So if Cyrax is coming, that probably increases Sector's chances. And he was really cool in the Mortal Kombat 11 story. I just really hate how they did him dirty by just having Kano make him self-destruct. It's not like someone actually defeated Sector or anything like that. Hell, I even liked his Chronicle armor.
Number 6. Tremor.
So let me just say that Tremor was easily my favorite thing about Mortal Kombat X. I think it's probably known to most people now that I was not the biggest fan of Mortal Kombat X's roster. Tremor was probably one of the first characters that made me scream in excitement. Maybe not scream. I actually remember I was on the toilet when I was watching Mortal Kombat X Combat Pack reveal, and I just remember yelling from the toilet, "Tremor!" It's also fitting he's a brown ninja as well. Toilet humor. But no, Tremor is a character I wanted them to make playable for a long time. To be honest, I never played Mortal Kombat Special Forces and probably never will. But when I learned that there was actually a new ninja introduced in that, I was really intrigued. It's probably known by now that I really like the ninjas. They're probably one of my favorite parts of Mortal Kombat. But I absolutely love Tremor in Mortal Kombat X. His design, his voice, his personality, his moveset. I mean, his variations could have been a bit more varied, and I wish he had more costumes, but I think that was less so his fault. That was just sort of the mechanics and, I guess, patterns around him, for lack of a better term. And he was actually recently in Mortal Kombat Snowblind, and I think that movie put a lot of respect on him. He was actually treated as one of the most powerful of the Black Dragon, one of Kano's most fearsome henchmen. I don't know how I felt about him being kind of a big hulking monster. I prefer him being more, I guess, regular human-sized. Being bulkier, sure, he should definitely be the bulkiest of the ninjas, but that was maybe a bit too much. I think they should probably find a middle ground between the Mortal Kombat X design and that, I would say. As for his chances, I think they're good. I feel like Ed Boon has talked. People have basically asked about Tremor, and his responses to Tremor were fairly positive. And I feel like if Scarlet can come back, Tremor can definitely come back, especially with a kind of his notoriety now in the Snowblind movie as well. Granted, the roster was probably decided at this point before that movie came out, but it still shows that he's at least kind of in the zeitgeist. We'll put it that way. But yeah, he definitely needs to come back.
Number 5.
Onaga.
So this is one of those characters that I was kind of teasing with Ataru that would sort of increase his story relevance. But Onaga, seriously, is probably my favorite Mortal Kombat boss, at least final boss. And honestly, he's the only one they haven't really revisited. We got Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat 9, and Shang Tsung as well. We got Shinnok back in Mortal Kombat X as the big bad, and then they tried something new with Kronika. I just feel like it's definitely Onaga's time to be the main villain again. I think Shao Kahn being the main villain again would be kind of boring, honestly. Shang Tsung, again, we've also had him as the main villain multiple times, just kind of boring. Shinnok, I like the guy, but he's less popular than Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn, so I don't see them making him the main villain again. And, I mean, Kronika wasn't exactly, I think, the most well-received final boss, to put it lightly, so I think it's maybe a little risky to try something new already again, especially if Ed Boon is talking about kind of fixing sort of their lack of focus on the 3D era characters. I think having Onaga as the main villain would sort of definitely do a lot to show that they are trying to kind of fix that attitude they're having. Now, I know there is Blaze as well, but I think between the two of them, I'm pretty sure we all want Onaga more. Nothing against Blaze personally, but I just think Onaga has a lot more going for him. Not to mention, I really think the only problem with Onaga was his moveset, and this was a common problem with a lot of 3D era characters. They were cool, their concept was cool, Their moveset just sucked, though, and his was no exception. And he was the final boss, so he should have had a cooler moveset. And I would just love to see what they do with him now. Now, I know a lot of people say, and even some rumors and things that would always say Onaga, that he's just going to be a boss and not playable. I personally think that would be ridiculous if he finally came back.
Number 4.
Reiko.
Reiko is just one of those characters that always seems like he's on the cusp of getting in a game, but just seems like he always misses the mark. And it's also really weird because he seems to actually make in other adaptations for Mortal Kombat. Hell, he was in Mortal Kombat Conquest. He had a big role in the Mortal Kombat X comic. He was in Mortal Kombat Battle for the Realms, and he had a couple of lines, and Mortal Kombat 2021 film. And I actually like the movie. I'm not just saying that because I don't like the movie. I actually do like that. But the depiction of Reiko in that was horrible. But Reiko always had a really cool face paint, the no pupils, the black and white hair. And I do hope they bring back the black and white hair. I have noticed that recent incarnations of him have been kind of just given this black mohawk. He needs to have the white hair or something. And obviously we got alternate outfits where he could have different hair. They did that with characters in Mortal Kombat 11. So they could probably do it in Mortal Kombat 12 as well. Now for Reiko's chances, I mean, I thought they were decent for Mortal Kombat 11. That obviously wasn't the case. I do think they're a little better now as Reiko has gotten more exposure. He seems like he's more on Ed Boon's mind. And if they are giving Shao Kahn a break, and maybe even Noob Saibot, but hopefully that's not the case, maybe that'll kind of leave the way for Reiko to kind of fill a void, no pun intended. But I do want Reiko to kind of be his own character, and I think that's kind of the main thing he has going against him. He just hasn't really done many unique, cool things that stand out. He did have that really awesome throw in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, that really Matrix-like throw. But I think that's just the obstacle they have to kind of overcome with him. It's just making him kind of a unique character, at least combat-wise. I think they can definitely figure out a story and personality for him. That doesn't seem to be a problem. It's just sort of his fighting style. Hell, he even kind of took Scarlet's powers, if you want to count that, in Mortal Kombat X when he became a Blood God. Actually, if anything, he was stronger than Scarlet, funnily enough. But yeah, just work something out with him. I know there's got to be something. It can't be impossible to make up something unique for him. But I definitely think his chances are better this time, but I'm not going to say that they're great chances by any means. I'm a little burned out with saying that with these characters.
Number 3.
Havoc.
So I really don't understand what their problem is with Havoc. I don't understand why this guy never caught on. He totally fits the theme of Mortal Kombat. He introduces a whole new world, and he actually had a decent moveset for a 3D era character. So I don't understand why we haven't seen this guy more. But I've just always really liked Havoc's design and his moveset. Everything about him I just really like. Easily one of the best post-trilogy characters that definitely needs more love. He has actually gotten a lot of love in the Mortal Kombat X comic. You'd think that would have been enough to kind of put him in a game. But I think it's probably safe to say Havoc is like the Fujin of this game. He's the next in line most requested post-original trilogy character and pre-NetherRealm Studios character, we'll put it that way. But, of course, while we did get Frost and Fujin in MK11, Frost I feel like barely made it in the game, and they had to redesign her a lot. And Fujin was still DLC. So I want to say Havoc would make it in the base roster, but I just don't know. I just don't feel like I can 100% say I'm that confident on him making the base. At least, I think he's definitely at least going to be DLC. At the very least, he's going to be DLC. He did get a couple story mentions in Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath, as he was mentioned, I believe, by Shang Tsung when they kind of sent Geras away through a portal, saying that Havoc would deal with them. And in Shang Tsung's ending, Chaos Realm and Order Realm were brought up. And this is the other character that I feel like if they're in, Ataru could be in as well. However, I feel like Havoc could probably coexist without Ataru, as it seems like they didn't really even interact that much in Mortal Kombat Deception.
Number 2.
Smoke.
So Smoke is one of... Lastly, here's some AI art of Smoke. Kind of went for the MK9 default design.
Honorable mentions.
Frost. Scarlet. Jade.
Tasia.
Li Mei. Takeda.
Number 1.
Serena.
Oh, I feel like there's... Where do I begin with this one? I feel like Serena is definitely the most missed potential character in all of Mortal Kombat. First of all, I think she has the coolest design of any female character in the game, and I will dare say the sexiest as well. First of all, Serena has a lot of story potential with characters like Sub-Zero, Quan Chi, Noob Saibot, arguably Scorpion. Secondly, we don't have many characters from the Netherrealm. She would not only be one of those, but she'd also be a good guy from the Netherrealm, which we definitely don't have many of those. Also, I mean, the company's name is NetherRealm Studios, not Earthrealm Studios, not Outworld Studios, NetherRealm Studios. Why don't you have more characters from the Netherrealm? Secondly, we know that Serena has a demon form, so she could be kind of a transformation style character. And I think a lot of us are curious what the hell this demon form looks like. We have no idea, we've never seen anything like it. The biggest obstacle with her is just the moveset, I feel like. Because the times she has been playable, she just had a very generic style moveset. And for those curious when those times were, they were Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition on the Game Boy Advance, and Mortal Kombat Armageddon, of course. Armageddon, of course, being the better appearance. But even still, like, I mean, she could keep, like, that rapid kick move. Maybe she could throw knives. It would be cool if she did have some weapon, like maybe a knife or, like, a kama. I think she had those in Sub-Zero Mythologies, but I think Natara has the kamas, but I don't know if they'd exactly give those back to Natara. I don't think they make that much sense for Natara, especially because she has, like, claws and fangs. Now, her chances, I'm not sure. It seems like she always just kind of misses the boat. I think there was maybe a tweet Ed Boon said kind of suggesting, like, oh, you know, it's probably not the last you've seen of Serena, when someone asked about her. But, like, there were so many characters, I'm not sure. And, like, that could just mean, like, I think she might be, like, DLC. I don't know if she'll be base roster as much as I would love that. She does seem like a DLC character. But hey, I don't know, maybe they'll surprise us and she will be base roster. It's really hard to say what her chances are. I always feel like I want to say they're good, like they'll finally pull a trigger, but they never seem to do. But really, all I'm just trying to say, NetherRealm, is please just give me back my goth waifu. Which, speaking of which, I feel like her and Natara would be very easy sells. Like, they're these sexy, monstrous characters. I know they're not as monstrous looking as Melina, and I think they would definitely appeal to kind of the goth crowd. Or the alternative crowd, I guess I should say today. So, like, I feel like you're really missing some opportunities here. Oh, and here's a couple AI-generated images of Serena that I got. But yeah, that's my overall top 15 list of characters I would like in the next Mortal Kombat game. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you agree with my picks, don't agree with them, let me know what characters you would like in the game. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. But, you know, consider liking the video. Definitely help the channel out. You can dislike it, whatever. Also consider subscribing. That would really help the channel out a lot. You can definitely expect more Mortal Kombat related videos coming from me, leading up to the announcement of the next NetherRealm game, and probably after it gets announced as well. And don't forget to check out my Discord or my Patreon in the description below. But regardless, thank you so much for checking out this video, and as I always say, another time, another place, keep being awesome.